I'll never forget the moment I checked my college fund account and saw the balance, $0.00. At first, I thought it had to be a mistake. A glitch. A banking error. Something, anything, except what my gut was already telling me. But as I scrolled through the transaction history, my stomach dropped. The money, all $40,000 of it, was gone. I sat there, frozen, my heart pounding. That money was supposed to cover my tuition, my dorm, my future. I had worked summers, saved birthday checks, and my parents had contributed everything they could. I refreshed the page. Still zero. Then, I saw the name on the biggest transfer. My sister. Perfect, straight A, never gets in trouble. Older sister, Emily. The one my parents trusted blindly. The one who always had an excuse, always had a way of getting out of trouble. She stole my college fund. I didn't even know how to react. I just sat there, staring at the screen, until my mom called me for dinner. My hands were shaking as I picked up my phone and walked downstairs. At the table, Emily was sitting there, cool as ever, eating like nothing had happened. My parents were talking about something trivial, TV shows, maybe. My ears were ringing too much to listen. I pulled out my phone, opened the banking app, and slid it across the table to my dad. Check this out, I said, my voice tight. He looked confused at first, then annoyed, like I was interrupting dinner for something dumb. But as his eyes scanned the screen, his face went pale. My mom looked over his shoulder, and I watched her mouth drop open. What is this? Dad finally asked, his voice dangerously low. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. I just looked at Emily. For the first time, I saw panic flash across her face. She tried to grab my phone, but I snatched it back. Explain, I said, my voice shaking with barely contained rage. Emily swallowed hard, but then, just like always, she composed herself. She was good at this. Too good, I can explain, she said, holding up her hands like she was innocent. It's not what you think. My dad slammed his fist on the table, making everyone jump. You stole $40,000. That's his college money. What the hell did you do with it? Emily hesitated, and that's when I knew she was about to lie. She started with something ridiculous. I was going to pay it back. Oh, sure. Because everyone who steals 40 grand just magically gets it back, right? My mom's face was pure betrayal. She looked at Emily like she didn't even recognize her. How could you do this? This was for your brother's education. Emily sighed, like she was the victim here. And then she dropped the bombshell. I needed it for something important. Like what? My dad's voice was sharp. Emily looked down, suddenly embarrassed. And that's when the real horror began to unfold. She took the money because she invested it in crypto. Silence. My dad was the first to react. He let out this bitter, humorless laugh. You're joking. I'm not. Emily snapped, like she was the one being wronged. I did my research. I had a plan. I was going to double it and give it back before anyone noticed. I thought my mom was going to faint. You gambled your brother's entire future. Emily crossed her arms. It's not gambling, it's investing. And if you guys had just trusted me, trusted you. I exploded. You stole from me, Emily. Without even asking. I was going to put it back. I laughed, shaking my head in disbelief. Oh yeah. And where is it now? That shut her up. Turns out, Emily had already lost almost everything. The second she admitted it, my dad lost his mind. He stood up so fast his chair scraped against the floor. How much is left? He roared. Emily was silent. My mom grabbed her by the arm, her voice deadly calm. Emily. Answer your father. Emily shrunk in her chair like a scolded child. I don't know. The market is down right now, but it might go up again. I felt like I was going to be sick. Oh my God. You lost it all, didn't you? She didn't answer. My dad stormed into the living room, grabbed his laptop, and made Emily log into whatever shady exchange she had used. The moment the numbers popped up, my mom gasped, $3,218. That was all that was left. Out of $40,000. Nobody spoke for a long time. My dad sat down, his head in his hands. My mom just kept shaking her head, whispering, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. And Emily, she had the audacity to look angry. I told you, she mumbled. It's only down right now. If we just wait, my dad snapped. He shot up, grabbed Emily's phone, and threw it across the room. It shattered against the wall. Wait for what, Emily? Huh? Wait for more money to magically appear. You ruined your brother's future over a get-rich-quick scheme. Emily folded her arms, muttering under her breath, "It's not a scheme," and that was it. That was the moment my dad lost all faith in her. "I don't even know who you are," he said finally, his voice exhausted. That night, everything changed, and I knew one thing for sure. I was going to make her pay. The day after the big reveal, the house was a war zone. My mom cried the entire night. My dad was in full-on damage control mode, calling banks, trying to see if anything could be recovered. Spoiler, it couldn't. And Emily? She had locked herself in her room, avoiding everyone like a coward. I was still numb. One day, I had a future. The next, I was staring down the reality of not going to college. I overheard my parents arguing at 2 a.m. "We have to do something," my mom whispered. "We can't just let her get away with this." "What do you want me to do?" my dad snapped. "We can't press charges against our own daughter." Silence. That's when I realized the truth. Emily was going to get away with it, and that's when I decided, no. She won't. I wasn't going to scream at her. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't even going to beg my parents for justice. I was going to make her life hell. Step 1, make her feel safe. Emily didn't come out of her room until the next afternoon. She looked like absolute trash, red eyes, messy hair, still in her pajamas. She avoided eye contact and went straight to the fridge, like she was about to eat my future. That's when I made my move. "I forgive you," I said. She froze. Then turned to face me, suspicious. "What?" I shrugged. "You were just trying to help, right?" Her face shifted. First confusion, then hesitation, then relief. Yeah," she said carefully. "I never wanted to hurt you." Bullshit, but I smiled. "Oh no. And honestly, maybe I was overreacting." Emily blinked, like she couldn't believe her luck. I could practically hear the gears turning in her greedy little brain. If she thought I wasn't mad anymore, she wouldn't be on guard. Good. I wanted her relaxed. I wanted her thinking I was still the dumb little brother who would fall for her tricks, because step 2, make her dig her own grave. Step 2, feed her greed. I spent the next 2 weeks acting like her biggest fan. I asked her about crypto. Pretended I was super interested in investing. She ate it up. "You just have to be smart," she bragged one night, scrolling through charts on her laptop. "You can't panic when the market drops. That's what losers do." Oh, I nodded like she was some kind of genius. That makes sense. I wanted to laugh. This idiot had lost $40,000 and still thought she was the Wolf of Wall Street. She even showed me some shady Discord group where people hyped up random coins. "This is where I get my best tips," she whispered. "Yeah. Tips from random dudes online, flawless strategy, Emily." Then, one night, I played my biggest card. "I wish I could invest," I said, sighing dramatically. "But I don't have enough money." Her eyes sparked. Hook. Line. Sinker. Step 3, the trap. Emily didn't take the bait immediately. She hesitated. She knew she had messed up badly last time, and even her greedy brain was telling her to be careful, but I was patient. Over the next week, I casually brought it up again. "If only I had, like, $5,000, I said one night, stretching. "I could double it in no time." Emily bit her lip. I could tell she was itching to say something. Then, a few days later, she finally snapped. "What if I invested it for you?" she asked, trying to sound casual. I pretended to hesitate. "I don't know. I'd make sure it's safe this time," she said quickly. "I've learned from my mistakes." That was the funniest thing I'd ever heard. Oh, I nodded. That actually sounds smart. Maybe I should do it. She grinned. I grinned too, because she had no idea what was coming. Step 4, the setup. I went to my parents. "I have a plan," I told them. My dad was skeptical. "I don't want you losing more money, son." "I won't," I promised. "It's a trap." And then I laid it out. I'd pretend to give Emily $5,000 to invest. I'd show her a fake bank transfer screenshot as proof. She'd take the money and immediately start trading with it. My dad would contact the bank and trace everything. If Emily was dumb enough to fall for this, again, it would prove she never learned her lesson, and my parents, they wouldn't protect her this time. My mom still looked nervous. And what exactly is this supposed to accomplish? I smiled. Justice. Step 5, the betrayal. I told Emily I was ready. I showed her a doctored screenshot of a $5,000 transfer to her account. She practically glowed. This is gonna be huge, she whispered. I wanted to laugh in her face. The next morning, she ran up to me, ecstatic. Okay, I put it into a coin that's about to explode. Oh wow. I gasped. That's amazing. When will I see profits? She hesitated. Well, the market is a little down right now, but it'll bounce back. We just have to hold. Oh no, I frowned. What if I need the money back? Her face dropped. Well, you can't pull out right now, she said quickly. It's locked in a long-term strategy. I pretended to be nervous. Can I at least see the account? She hesitated, and that's when I knew, she had already lost it. Her excuses started piling up. The app is down. The funds are in a different wallet. It's just temporary. Then my dad walked in. Holding his phone, Emily. His voice was calm. Too calm. Why did you just transfer $5,000 to your crypto wallet? Her face went white, busted. Emily completely broke down. She screamed. Cried. Called me a backstabber, but it didn't matter. My parents had seen enough, and when my dad said, "You're paying him back with your college fund," she realized just how badly she had screwed herself. I got my money, Emily. She got nothing, and for the first time in her life, she actually faced the consequences. Emily's screaming fit lasted for almost an hour. No. You can't do this to me. That money is for my college. My dad, who had been holding back his anger for days, finally snapped. You had no problem taking his college money, did you? His voice boomed through the house. Now you know what it feels like. Emily was shaking with rage. That's different. I was trying to invest it. I was going to give it back. I couldn't help but laugh. And you lost it. Just like you lost my money. The only difference is now you're the one suffering. Emily turned to our mom, hoping she'd save her. Mom, you can't let them do this to me. Please. But my mom just shook her head, her eyes cold. You did this to yourself. That's when Emily finally realized she had lost. The next few weeks were glorious. For the first time in her life, Emily wasn't the golden child. My parents barely spoke to her unless necessary. They didn't scream at her every day, but the disappointment was worse. She went from being the favorite to being a burden. She tried everything to get back into their good graces. She apologized. She tried doing chores. She even made some fake effort to help me with college applications, like that would fix anything, but my parents didn't budge, and then, reality hit her like a truck. The moment she realized she was screwed. One evening, Emily came downstairs looking pale. So, about my college fund, she started, trying to sound casual. My dad didn't even look up from his laptop. What about it? She swallowed hard. I need it soon. For tuition. Now he looked up. You don't have a college fund anymore. Boom, her face dropped. What? But I need that money. I already accepted my offer. He shrugged. Then figure it out. Get loans. Get a job. But no, Emily. My mom's voice was sharp. You stole his future. Now you have to deal with yours on your own. Emily looked like she was about to vomit. You can't do this to me. I already did. My dad turned back to his laptop. Conversation over. And just like that, Emily's entire future crumbled. Her college dreams fell apart. Over the next few days, I watched Emily spiral into full-on panic mode. She called her college, trying to figure out if she could delay her tuition payments. Nope, she tried applying for student loans, but guess what? Her credit was garbage because she had maxed out a credit card last year, and then, the worst part, she actually had to look for a job. The same girl who had never worked a day in her life was now scrambling to find a way to pay for school, and I was thriving. I got my college fund back. My parents finally saw Emily for who she really was. And best of all, she was suffering, but I wasn't done yet, because I had one more lesson to teach her, the final move, public humiliation. One night, Emily stormed into my room, looking furious. You set me up, she hissed. I put my book down, raising an eyebrow. What are you talking about? You never actually gave me that $5,000. You tricked me. I leaned back in my chair, smiling. And? Her eyes twitched. And that's messed up. You made me look like an idiot in front of Mom and Dad. Oh, I nodded. You mean, like how you stole $40,000 and made me look like an idiot? That's different, she snapped. I laughed. Is it? She stood there, fuming. And then I dropped the final bomb. You know, I said slowly, maybe I should tell everyone what you did. Her face went white. You wouldn't. I smirked. Why not? I think your friends would love to know how you scammed your own brother. Emily panicked. Wait, no. Please. Her voice actually shook. People will hate me if you do that. Bingo, so, I said, tilting my head, maybe you should start making this up to me. Unless you want everyone knowing the truth. She clenched her jaw. What do you want? I smiled. Oh, you'll see. Emily had no choice. She became my servant. For the rest of the summer, she did everything I asked. I made her drive me everywhere. I made her do my laundry. I made her buy me food with her own money, and best of all, I made her cover every college expense I had that wasn't tuition, books. Emily paid dorm supplies. Emily paid new laptop. Emily paid, and she couldn't say a damn thing, because if she did, her entire social life would be ruined. The sweetest moment. On my last night before leaving for college, I looked at Emily and said, we're even now. She exhaled like she had just been released from prison, but before I walked away, I added, oh, and one more thing. She stiffened. What? I leaned in, lowering my voice. If you ever try to screw me over again, I smiled. I'll tell everyone everything. Got it? She swallowed hard. Then nodded, and with that, I left, victorious. Emily thought she was finally free once I left for college, and honestly, I thought I was done with her, too. She had suffered. She had paid me back in every way possible. I had humiliated her, controlled her, and made her life miserable, but here's the thing about karma, it wasn't finished with Emily yet, and neither was I. Emily's life completely fell apart. A month after I moved into my dorm, I got a frantic text from my mom. Mom, your sister just got fired from her job. Again. I nearly choked laughing. Emily had already lost 2 jobs in a month. She couldn't hold anything down because, surprise, she had zero work ethic. She had always relied on our parents' money, my money, or some easy way to make cash. Now she had nothing. She tried getting hired at a fancy office job. Got fired in a week. She tried working at a retail store. Lasted 3 days. She even tried babysitting. No parent ever called her back. I wasn't even trying to ruin her life at this point. She was doing it to herself. Then, she got desperate. A few weeks later, Emily did something I never expected. She texted me, Emily, hey. Can I ask you something? Me? Oh. You suddenly need your little brother's help. Emily, I need money. I had to sit down. This was too good. She had stolen from me. She had ruined my future until I took it back. And now? She had the audacity to ask me for money. I couldn't resist. Me, sure. Just ask Mom and Dad for your college fund. Emily, you know I can't. Please, I just need a little help. Me? Oh, like how I needed my $40,000. She didn't respond for hours. Then, finally, Emily, I get it, okay. If get up. But I really need help. I let her suffer a bit. Then, I sent her one final text. Me, you want money? Then you better be ready to earn it. And that's when I set my final plan into motion, the ultimate payback. At this point, Emily was broke, humiliated, and desperate. So I made her a deal. I had some boring assignments that I didn't want to do, long essays, research papers, busy work. So I told her, if you do my work, I'll send you $50 per assignment. I knew how much Emily hated school. This was her nightmare. But she had no choice, and so, for the next few weeks, my lazy, arrogant sister did my college homework while I sat back and relaxed. But that wasn't even the best part, how she became the family disappointment forever. One night, I got a call from my dad. Guess what? He said, laughing. Your sister just dropped out of college. I almost dropped my phone. Wait. What? She couldn't afford tuition, he said. And apparently, she wasn't doing any of her own assignments. She failed half her classes. I had to mute myself because I was laughing so hard, all that scamming, all that arrogance, all that bragging about being the smartest one in the family, and she had flunked out. Mom was beyond disappointed. Dad didn't even care anymore. She's on her own, he said. She made her bed, now she has to lie in it. And that's when it hit me. I had officially won. Emily had lost everything, her money, her future, her reputation in the family, and best of all, I didn't even have to ruin her life. She did it all by herself. Emily was officially at rock bottom. She had no job, no college, and no future, and for the first time in her life, she couldn't rely on Mom and Dad to bail her out. They were done with her. Every time I called home, my mom sounded tired, like she was just waiting for the day Emily finally moved out. My dad barely even mentioned her anymore, except to say she needs to figure her own life out. I should have been satisfied. I got my revenge, right, but there was one last thing I needed to do, the final move. One night, Emily texted me out of nowhere. Emily, hey. I know things have been bad between us, but I need a place to stay for a while. I stared at my phone, absolutely stunned. This girl had stolen from me. Ruined my future, or at least tried to. And now she wanted to move in with me. You joking, right? Emily, please. I just need a few weeks to get back on my feet. Me, oh, like how I needed my $40,000. Emily, I get it, okay. If get up. Can you just be my brother for 1 second? I leaned back in my chair, thinking, and then I made a decision. I was going to teach her one final lesson, the last embarrassment. I told Emily she could come stay with me. She showed up a few days later, looking completely defeated. She had a single duffel bag and the expression of someone who had just realized she wasn't special anymore. I let her in, showed her the couch, and then I put her to work. If she wanted to stay with me, she had to earn it. I made her clean my entire apartment. I made her cook my meals. I made her do my laundry, and every time she complained, I just smiled and said, "Oh, I thought you liked hard work." She lasted 5 days, then one night, I came home, and she was gone. She left a note on the counter, "I'd rather be homeless than live with you. You. I laughed hard, and that was the last time I ever let Emily be a part of my life. Where is she now? It's been a few years since all of this happened. Emily. She's still struggling. She hops from job to job, never lasting more than a few months. She's still broke. Still directionless. And still completely alone. Meanwhile, I graduated college debt-free. I got a great job. I have my own place. And best of all, I never have to deal with Emily ever again. The lesson, karma always comes back around. Emily thought she could steal from me, ruin my future, and just walk away, but in the end, she ruined her own life, and I just sat back and enjoyed the show.